it was a good period of time where I was trying to get rid of a habit of smoking hash every night before going to sleep. And I usually try to take the opportunity to, whenever I get the opportunity in a platform like this, if there's a lot of young people speaking, to speak about it, because I was trying to get out of it for 2 years. And I was trying to get out for 2 years, and I would wake up every morning. My first search would be how to stop smoking hash. And there would be some research papers on what it's doing to your mind and things like that. But, that's the thing with an addiction, is the next morning you're back at it. So I opened up to her saying that, I hadn't really had the courage to say it to anybody that it's a problem. And I opened up to her saying that this is the problem that I'm facing. I'm not able to get out of it. And that night, she said to me one important thing. She said that, you're constantly getting high because you're not high on your own life. And it may be different sentences for different people, but that sentence really hit home with me. So it kind of permeated into my subconscious. And that night is when she gave me a meditation to try for the first time. So I feel like it had something to do with really permeating that message really deep into my subconscious, because that was the last night I picked up a joint. So I didn't touch it after that night. I went cold turkey. It's been 5.5 years. I haven't touched it. And I think that's a big, it kind of connected a little bit of this reverberation of the inside meets the messaging from the outside. And that's when I knew also that in this space of meditation, I want to do something. And then, different signals came as I went along that, this is a space that I should be getting into. But yeah, I mean, as we go along the journey, these things start happening to us.
I'm glad you shared that, right? Because, you oftentimes give in to, like for me, that was smoking. Like I smoked, I think till we started Glitch, I would smoke an easy like 10 plus cigarettes a day for a good period of time, if not longer. You're on a shoot, I would tend to do that. And I quit cold turkey because I realized that I was like 27 and I was panting for breath when I was on a shoot or something like that. And at some point I had to stop. And I found an opportunity, rather a time to stop, because Rohit was my co-founder, didn't smoke, and only two of us started together. So best time to evade it. But I think back on that decision, and I think back on even sometime recently when I started to like look at food differently, change my relationship with sleep and mindfulness, is that there are moments when those choices come to you. And I feel that, like I said, use the word reverberation. I feel it's not just a singular choice. It's the environment you set yourself in. It's what you almost fed your mind, because you went through that day one and your mind was primed for you to get into this.
Exactly.
Rather than you just focusing on what you need to change, you're almost curious about, okay, I want to see how this can kind of not be a thing. And I feel that, and I've been learning that curiosity plays a strong part in getting out of these habit loops, as you call them. And And I think that's one thing to kind of latch on to.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's you use the word curiosity. I think also somewhere the pause is also very, very important. Just to give that space to let that, and that's why I resonate with this idea of reverberance. So within that pause, the reverberance comes, because you give that pause and then you suddenly have a lot of, okay, let this reverberate and let it come to the top.
It's interesting that we're having this recording today. My last night's meditation, and I do guided meditation before I go to sleep, spoke about horizontal thinking versus vertical thinking. And it says that we're always on a horizontal plane in life. Right? You're figuring out, okay, what am I doing next? How are you moving ahead and all that stuff. And only when you pause do you think vertically.
Yeah.
And you kind of look at it from a slightly longer sense. And I know we're using different terms, but we're saying the same thing. Is that we got to take that moment to really make that choice, but also give yourself the opportunity to do it. For more insights like this, make sure you check out the full episode.